Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Now believe it or not, this is I think about 9th time I'm trying to record this video because something always goes wrong. Either way, I think it's fitting because it's Silver Sable. Now we're going to be taking a look at Silver Sable's pre-buff, post-buff damage compared to other champions, so on and so forth. All the champions I'm going to use in this video are going to be 6-star rank 3s. Silver Sable's SIG 200, I think just about all of the other champions are SIG 202 or close enough. And let's face it, Silver Sable needed all the help she could get because she was arguably one of the 3 worst champions, not arguably, one of the 3 worst champions released in last year. 2024 release, she just underperformed just about everywhere. Not that much in terms of utility in her kit to begin with. That utility is less than super efficient, and also her damage kind of sucked. And she had a finicky playstyle. Speaking of, I'm also going to be breaking down her playstyle because I do not believe too many people knew or remembered how to play her because, well, nobody used her for anything. The entire point of her kit is to work around shocks and her mine mechanic. So every single one of your basic attacks have a chance to apply the shock, and if you intercept the opponent, you get an increased chance on that hit as well, which is helpful to do. Additionally, your level 1 will place a mine wherever you knock the opponent down. You want that to be the corner because that is the easiest place on the screen for you to cross. And then every time you cross these mines, you get a fervor passive that increases your dot ability accuracy, damage over time effect. Effectively, for every fervor, you will be getting extra chance to apply your shocks. These fervors have 2% potency. And then every time you cross your mine, you get these fervors. The more fervors, the more shocks you can apply. The more shocks you can apply, the more damage. And obviously level 2 can convert your active shocks into passive shocks, which is your main source of damage. Additionally, every time you activate special attack, you gain cruelties. Those cruelties are weak, but you know, they're still there and they do help the critical shock damage. Additionally, every time Winter Soldier or your opponent crosses these mines outside of special attack animation, they do take a burst of damage. So mines are kind of crucial. You want to cross them as often as you can yourself, and you want Winter Soldier to cross them as well to take bursts of damage. Unfortunately, the update kind of made mines significantly less meaningful. You hardly need, well, you need like 1, and you focus a lot less around them. But the point is, like here we can see I have like 40 fervor. I'm trying to be as aggressive as I can, placing the shocks. Then I want to make sure that I throw Winter Soldier over a mine with my level 2 in order to be able to convert those active shocks into passive ones, as we can see here. Each mine can convert up to 10 shocks. So I, converted all of the shocks that I had active. And now he's taking, a passive critical shock damage. And I do have my cruelties. And this is Silver Sable, how to say, full guns blazing at the 6-star rank 3 level. This is, about as much as you can ramp her. And this is, how it looks like when you're using her. So now again, I'm throwing him over, have the 9 shocks. Again, if I intercepted more in this fight, I would have slightly higher damage output. But Winter Soldier is not the easiest champion to intercept because of the Realm of Legends AI. However, at the same point, we can clearly see that, aside from some extra shocks on intercepts, we have played borderline flawless, and it is 2 minutes 43 seconds. How does that compare? 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Hitmonkey did it in 1:35. Then I did it in Black Widow Deadly Origins, which, again, is not a ramp-up champion at all. Hitmonkey isn't either. Black Widow Deadly Origins was 2:08. Then I used OG Black Panther, which was 2:07. And then Mantis was 2:12. And then Stealthy was 1:30. So you can see that the fastest, burstiest champions that would also be better in shorter fights did in like 1:30. So more than a full minute faster. And average was approximately 2 minutes for 6-star rank 3s. And none of these champions had Relic equipped either on them that could have potentially helped them slightly. Then the update comes. And now we can take a look at her after the update. The most important thing that changed is her shock duration is increased. The damage on shocks really hasn't, but the duration has increased, which is great because less of them will fall off as you are trying to make your way to the level 2. And then each fervor is now 80% instead of 2, and max stacks are 3. So you can get max 3 fervors active. And in order to do that, you just really need 1 mine. I tested it afterwards with 3 mines, 2 mines, 1 mine, and the results were basically identical for the fight duration. So in the shorter fights, for sure, there's no reason to throw more than 1 level 1 now. And even in the longer ones, I don't think it changed that much, because you can get max stacks of fervor easily just utilizing a single mine. And now, again, you can convert up to 15 shocks that have shorter duration, but will have more damage. And now I want to make sure the Winter Soldier comes to me, crosses those mines, and I'm going to activate level 2. We convert 15 of them, unfortunately, because I triggered one before that. And, it's solid. It's much more solid damage for sure. Also, the cruelties now are passives, by the way, from the SIG ability, so they would trigger Mystic Dispersion a lot less. And they change their disorient. It's more potent against science champions, less potent against everybody else, really. But fine. We're going to talk about that stuff a bit later on. So now, as you can see, we have 23 shocks there. We're going to convert all of them. And that is some significant increase in damage there, without a doubt, man. It is much, 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 much faster. How much faster, though? Well, let's take a look. He's about dead. 155. 155 is where we're at. 154 was another run, I believe, with 1 mine or 3 mines. But basically, all the fights that I did either way were like 152, 154. So slightly faster than an average skill champion fight, really. I like that. The thing that I did not like is that not that I liked anything about Silver Sable before, but now after the buff, I think they're trying to make the best out of bad situation, and it feels like she kind of lost her identity, because now multiple mines are effectively meaningless because you have your max fervors up easily anyways. The burst damage from those mines has been reduced despite everything, really. So triggering those mines, when opponent steps over them, is even less relevant now too. So you really don't have any reason to activate more than 1 anymore and force opponent, over it outside of your level 2. Now she effectively feels like a shock version of Penny Parker if she had 0 defense. She feels exactly like Penny Parker. It's level 1, level 2 rotation. You do have a line that needs to be crossed. For Penny Parker, it's the power bar that you need to dingle there and back with your level 1 ones. For Silver Sable, it is a physical line on the map where you need to throw over the champion in order to convert those shocks into passive shocks. Again, one is using Incinerate, other one's using Shock, which again, I do think Incinerate is better debuff than the Shock. And Penny also has defensive abilities and more safety nets, and doesn't require intercepting as much, and has immunities, and has other bits of utilities that I think are better. But effectively, at the moment, I'm looking at Silver Sable kind of like half of Penny Parker, just a bit worse. I mean, like, her damage is decently good now, for sure. There's like no question on that. Whoops, I also pulled the Sense on Arcade just now, who also got updated, by the way. But there you go. Like, I think she's fine now. I think damage-wise, you can absolutely bring her in the current content. Battlegrounds, Alliance War fights, stuff like that will be over with level 1, level 2. Now you just effectively get opponent in the corner, throw your mine, get your fervors up, which is super easy, and then drop a level 2. That's it. So she will work for sure, like in Battlegrounds, let's say about as well as Black Widow Deadly Origins. I guess. But is she gonna, you know? She's definitely a lot better. I don't want to condemn her at all. I know a lot of people will be happy about it. I'm not a big fan. Like, about specifically, it feels like she has stayed true to herself. To me, it immediately felt kind of a bit more lame using her, because like her entire thing was, let's throw these mines and trigger them, and you know it's gonna look cool and they're gonna take bursts of damage. And now you don't need more than one mine, and you don't really need to trigger them at all, because the damage is not, you know, significant at all when opponent crosses those mines. The only thing you want is to get your fervors up and drop your level 2s. Which is exactly, you know, which is basically what you do with Black Widow Deadly Origins. Get your Widow's Insight up, which would be a replacement for Fervor, and drop your level 2s. The only difference is, like, now you do need to drop a level 1 in order to activate the mine and do that entire thing. So, it's hard for me to love this buff, I'm going to put it like that. She's definitely a lot better. Her damage is in line. It's not insanely amazing, but it's not bad. So, let me know what you guys think about Silver Sable post-buff. I am still not a big fan, personally, but, you know, she might be very good for the next meta, though, in Battlegrounds, with Disorient and Shock. So I'm sure she's going to see some temporary increase in popularity. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information